call this meeting to order at 10 a.m. on October 27th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick,
here.
Councilwoman Freeman, Councilman Perticone,
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo,
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
and Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We have two items on our agenda tonight. One is the establishment of the Lakeside Refuse District, and the second is the 2024 preliminary budget. So we will start with the Lakeside Refuse District. Madam Clerk?
Item number 1, authorizing the establishment of the Lakeside Refuge District.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Town Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So this is a resolution that's been considered by the board for a little while now. We've had the public hearing, and this would be to establish a refuse district within the town in a specified area with 86 houses, I believe. We did get an RFP, and the annual fees for collection of refuse within the district would be $258 a year. And if there were additional services that the people wanted, they could contract separately with Casella, which was the low bidder on the RFP. So at this point, it is in the board's discretion whether or not to establish this district. There was more than 51% of the assessed value that supported it in the form of the petition, which is how it came to the board for review. And now it's the board's determination whether it's in the best interest. There's no kind of magic number here. It's just to the board's discretion.
Okay, thank you. Just as a reminder, we did call a meeting on Monday. Unfortunately, we had two board members that were unable to make it, one due to emergency, one due to reasons unknown. And I did not think it was fair at that time to take a vote, as I am not able to participate in this vote due to Town Code Section 24, which would have made an automatic failure. So we moved it to today to see what the other board members will think, and we have another board member that, for unknown reasons, is not here today. So we will continue, as we do have no other options at this point to push this any further. So we'll see where the votes fall today, and we'll open it up for discussion. Would anybody have any questions or comments on this resolution?
Is there someone that could just describe the level of service that Casella is providing for the neighborhood?
Sure, I would be happy to. So the RFP that we sent out, and Madam Comptroller, if I'm wrong, let me know, but it includes a 172-gallon, I think they call it a toter, and also recycling services. The homeowner can also have 6 additional bins of their choosing for refuse. They're not provided those 6 bins, but they can have 6 bins, and this is a weekly service.
Okay, Ms. Romeo?
I guess I'll wait until we vote.
Vote, okay. Mr. Perticone?
I had a list of homes that I went to. I went to 14 homes last Saturday morning. Obviously there were 8 that weren't home, which, obviously I knew going in that probably I would get a good, I would like, the chances of everybody being home were pretty slim to none. But I had 4 yeses, and the yeses that I had, they already have Casella as a carrier. They're happy with them. They're good with them. I had 2 no's, and then 8 weren't home. But some of the people I did talk to, the only thing that a little concerned me a little bit, that I was the first they really heard of it. when I went to their door to talk to them about it. But in general, I think that the consensus that I got from the couple people that already have Casella for a carrier, they're pretty happy with them. The concern was if something comes up, they have an issue with Casella. I didn't really feel that I could. Do they call Casella? I'm certainly sure they would. Do they call the town? Those were some of the things that they were asking me. But in general, just a couple of things that weren't concerning was some people was the first that they heard of it. I just wish that some of these people just were informed a little more than when I went to their door. But in general, the people that do have Casella are pretty happy with what they have. I will just go out there, and I have another different carrier that Casella, and I'm going to be paying my pickup relatively soon here. There is a considerable difference in price. There's a big savings between what you're going to get here in this refuse district and what I'm going to be paying on my own. So there is quite a savings. So
I personally have Casella myself, and I had Al's before Casella bought them, and this seems like the same service that I have. I have not had really any issue with Casella, and this is a significant savings over what I'm paying. I mean, one thing nice, you're not paying sales tax.
yeah.
So actually, Mr. Supervisor, I don't want to influence my colleagues on the board in their vote, but I will take the opportunity to speak now before we vote.
Okay.
Although I'm super in favor of the environmental benefits that are potential here and very aware of safety issues. And the savings for some people, I will tell you that I have a different carrier and I pay something comparable. So I think anybody could talk to any carrier and get a better price if they so desired. But with all due respect, I'm going to vote today based on process. I am not enamored with the process and the way it works. I don't like the idea, and I understand that this is from the state of New York, and I've also reached out to our state representatives, but I don't like the idea that this is based on property value, not people. That is really sticking with me. So in other words, the wealthiest people in your neighborhood, the people with the highest property values can, in fact, make a decision that you might not be happy with. I think that process, now that we've walked through it, really needs to be reexamined, and I would ask my colleagues on the board to think about that. Certainly we could revisit this again next year, but I think that part of the process is flawed. I also think that a lot of people, and I knocked on doors too this weekend, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't have a genuine understanding. Maybe they didn't recognize the consequences of a non-action, but we all know that a non-action is an action. When you don't make a decision, someone else makes that for you. I think we've created a lot of awareness around that now. But I'm not ready to commit everyone in this district to something that a lot of people were either not in favor of or didn't have a full understanding of. Even though 51% of the property value was reached, I'm going to go back to I don't like putting property value over people, and I'm asking that we reconsider how this process works. And I think, and I would ask the town attorney, I think that as long as we follow what the state has put in front of us, we could certainly improve it. We just can't negate it. Is that correct?
So certainly, we do need to follow the state process, but it is within the board's discretion. If the board wants to see greater support than 51% of assessed value, that is the board's prerogative.
And I would be very much in favor of having that conversation. I think it protects us from this whole idea that we're putting property values over people, and that somehow wealth is making a decision that people should be making. This is big D democracy, and that's what I'm struggling with. I love everything about garbage districts. This part of the process really has me stuck. Thank you.
Taking the property values out, wasn't there greater than 50% of the properties that were affirmed? What was the percentage?
Oh, sorry, yes, yeah.
So the property value exceeded it, and it was more than 50% of the property owners or properties signed in yes.
Yes, and with all due respect, we met the requirements that were put in front of us by the state of New York. However, keep in mind, we're setting a precedent here. And I don't know what the next district will be. I don't know what it might involve. I don't know where it might pop up. But I think before we say yes to this, we need to take a serious look at the process.
So we're able to change that from property values to percentage of, no.
No, we
Right.
can up the
We
property
can't.
value so that it's not so likely to be displaced.
John, anything else?
You know, obviously, I want to make sure that we're all together on this thing, and I want to make sure that the folks that live in this district, I like the concept of it. I think it's a very good, and wouldn't have been brought to us if the people in this, if it wasn't a good idea. But I just want to make sure we have a consensus. I want to make sure that we're all good with this together. I don't want to. I think Ms. Romeo has some good points. The one thing that just concerned me a little bit, not everybody was aware of what was going on. It was one concern that I had as well, too. But if we can make the process a little bit better and we're okay with it, then, I guess we can move on. I don't know if we vote no today, what's the next step that we have to do to make sure this continues? I don't want them not to go forward with it, that's all. That's my concern. If they want it, I think they should continue the process and get it right, that's all.
So if it's voted no today, is there a way to recapture it before the end of the year and put it in the budget? This is
No.
budget related,
This
so,
is it.
but they
This
can
is it.
come back.
That's the issue we have, right? is
You can
the budget.
revisit it the next year?
Correct. So for the 2024 tax year, if it does not pass today, the refuse district will not be included. However, they can start again in January through April collecting petition signatures again.
And I would task my colleagues on the board to take a real fine look at how the process works if we wanted to make changes to that process prior to January.
But if we wanted to make changes, we're going back to the state law and changing it statewide.
Nope,
So the,
sorry.
no, my apologies. I don't mean to talk over you, Councilwoman Romeo. The 51% is still the threshold. It's more within the board's discretion. So it's just a matter of individual board member choice as to what they want to see in the way of support.
Okay, anyone else before we go to vote? So I guess I'll just say, obviously, many neighborhoods went after this. This was the only neighborhood to get it. It's the only neighborhood that I have a conflict in. So, it's a little bit frustrating from my aspect. People are elected to show up at board meetings, and they don't, and it affects our residents. So, we're missing a vote today that could influence this one way or another. So, I think it's, from the conversation I'm hearing, I don't know what the votes are going to be when they come, but, I think it's important for people to fulfill their obligation as an elected official. So I will just make that statement before holding this vote. So,
Mr. Supervisor, could I
yep.
add one other thing, and I'm going to lean on the town attorney for this, but if we really felt as a board that this was something worth pursuing, that having less garbage trucks on the road, that having a consolidated district for our waste is something worth pursuing, we could certainly look at this as a town-wide opportunity. And if we did that, we would go to public referendum. And so that, by the nature of how we do that, would involve everyone in the community having an opportunity to say, yes, I like this, or no, I do not. It would also task the town with the public education and outreach that has to happen. So I would also ask you to consider that as we move forward, because perhaps that's where we're headed. We had a lot of little areas in town that really came to the table to do this. We didn't have the outcome we expected to see. I want to make sure that's on the table and everyone understands that as well.
okay.
And Councilwoman Romeo is absolutely right. There are two ways to establish a refuse district. This one that you're considering today was resident-driven, but the town board also has the opportunity to establish one for the town, so.
And now we've seen the visual results, the financial results, the potential of what it would be. I would ask my fellow colleagues on the board to consider that as well.
Okay.
So now that we're missing a board member, which doesn't surprise me, no matter what the three of us are voting, but we have to have a majority of votes, 3 votes, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
what we need to
Quorums,
pass this.
yeah, so that's
Right.
why I pushed it, right? So I can't
Right,
vote.
you can't vote.
If you both voted yes last on Monday, or both,
Yeah.
or one voted yes, no, whatever the vote was, it's an automatic failure. So I
Right.
don't think that that's fair to the people that put in the work.
Of course not.
Not knowing what Councilmember Freeman or Romeo are going to vote. That's why it was taken off then, because, you know, obviously people put work in and need to hear from the whole, should have the opportunity to hear from the whole board, as well as the people that said no. They should have a fair opportunity to hear what all their elected officials say, right? So this is, like I said, this is a district that I'm not able to participate in the vote. You know, I wanted it to be fair for the whole neighborhood, not just an automatic no. Even, you know, had, you know, I don't know what anybody's vote is, but if Freeman and Romeo had felt, you know, different way than you guys or whatever, there's more of a wide opinion. So it was just, that was my reason for pushing it. Unfortunately, once again, we couldn't get full participation, but that may or may not affect it as we go to vote here. So we will move on to vote. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay. I am abstaining due to Town Code Section 20-4. So this resolution does not pass. Correct, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we will now move into an executive session per Public Law 105-1F as it relates to employees in town. Thank you. Oh, motion to go into executive session?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, we'll be entering into executive session. Thank you. Okay, it's my pleasure to present to you the preliminary 2024 budget for the town of Arundecoit. Our residents continue to feel the effects of high prices, be they fuel prices, utility increases, increased healthcare costs, and grocery increases. We at the town hall are feeling those effects as well. As we began the budget process, all expenses were reviewed multiple times and nothing was off the table, with a focus on maintaining services and continued commitment to putting forward a fiscally responsible plan and some serious belt tightening. This budget was presented with total expenditures of the town increasing by barely over 2%, while revenues are expected to increase by just over 9%. The 2024 preliminary budget contains a decrease in the real property tax rate of $4.69 per $1,000 assessed. This is the lowest tax rate the town has seen in over 30 years. As proposed by the town, will once again stay well below the state mandated property tax cap. This was not an easy task. As we go forward, we will continue to look at creative ways to minimize the impact of these rising costs and will have the town that will have on the town and on its taxpayers. And again, nothing will be off the table. As I said last year at this time, the town is grateful for the American Rescue Plan dollars that flowed into our community, and I felt strongly about using these funds in a fiscally responsible way, ways that would impact all residents. To this end, we have used our ARPA funds as follows. We've planted trees ourselves at the Savings residence. We've continued to revamp our town parks, adding another inclusive playground at Bateau Park and others, and upgrading McAvoy Park with new turf, new lights. And we are continuing to invest in our police department, adding staff and providing more necessary equipment they need to perform their duties, as well as training. On top of that, we will be following through on our commitment to complete our year-around farmers market, and we're following up through our commitment to upgrade and fix our aging infrastructure, specifically our pump stations and sewers. As I've said before, Arundecoit is nearly completely developed and continues to be confronted with the reality of a flat tax base. That said, our financial health of our town remains strong, as evidenced by our A1 Moody's rating, and per the State Comptroller's September 2023 report, the town has been deemed under no fiscal stress. I am grateful to all our department heads and staff, especially our Comptroller and her staff, for their hard work to ensure we do not pierce the tax cap and for maintaining fiscal discipline to which our taxpayers are accustomed and owed. I put this budget forward knowing we are fiscally responsible stewards working for all residents of Arundecoit. So with that, I will take a motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussions at this point? So,
Well, been through a few budgets myself. Definitely the help of all the staff, all the department heads and everyone for this budget, because this is really, really good news. We didn't get rid of services. We're keeping the taxes very low this year. It's the lowest it's ever been. And I know there's a lot of work goes into these budgets year after year. So Diana, your staff, department heads, the employees, good job. I'm really positive about this budget moving forward, and I fully support it.
okay, thank you.
I'll say ditto to that.
Okay, Peter?
I would also agree
A
completely.
lot of dittos out there? Yeah, so I mean, we face obviously costs beyond our controls, right? So we have, insurance, we have payroll, we have benefits, retirement benefits that are rising, all over the place and just out of our control. So we have to be very careful in other areas, and I think we've done a great job, and you guys have well, so to make sure that we are providing our residents with the proper services and doing it well. So thank you to everybody that worked and sacrificed during this budget. There was a tremendous amount of sacrifice, and I think our residents should know that what the department sacrificed is says a lot, and I look forward to another great year. So with that, I will take a vote to move this along. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Our budget has been adopted. We have a meeting November 9th is our public input. Our next town board meeting, or town workshop, is November 14th, and our next regular town board meeting is November 21st. So with that, I will move for to adjourn.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. This meeting has been adjourned.